Hey, this is Steve with the Punch Up Podcast. With me on this episode are Jessie Preisendorfer,
Hey, Steve.
Mario Fraboni,
Hey, Steve.
Kevin Regan,
Hey, Steve.
and Eoin O'Shea.
Steve.
All right, I'm going to tell a story. I'm going to tell a story about when I was a kid and earning an allowance by doing chores around the house. And one time that I spent some of that allowance buying an action figure that was not an action figure.
Is this like your gun that you made?
It's an overlap, time-wise. It's an overlap to that story.
Ian wants to know if you're buying tampons in this story.
I'm not buying tampons.
Okay.
I'm still amazed that you got an allowance. We had to work around the house just to live there.
Well, Mario, you might not know this, maybe you do, but I'm the youngest of 10. So I have 9 older siblings.
Wow.
1 is a brother, 8 are sisters. Big Irish Catholic family. And probably around the time of maybe 5 or 6, I don't know, there was a period of time where my parents would give me an allowance for doing chores around the house. But everybody had to do chores around the house in a house like that, right?
If everyone got an allowance in that home, your dad must have been pulling down big bucks.
No wonder he was stealing bikes.
He
He had to be a grifter on the side just to pay his kids off.
I feel like maybe Susan and I were the only 2 to get an allowance. The allowance, by the way, was $1 a week. So
right.
I used to use the allowance money to go buy, I remember my earliest memory of using this $1 to go buy a model airplane or a model car and put it together. There was a store in our neighborhood called Bonds. It was like I guess it was a department store, but it was like an all-purpose store. It had everything. That's the first thing I remember being obsessed with when I had an allowance and had a little bit of money, was just to go to Bonds and buy a model airplane or car or ship, and then spend like the week putting that together. And then the very next week when I'd get my $1, I'd get a ride down to Bonds from one of my siblings and get another model.
So do you think that your dad had like a connection with Bonds, like he owned stock or whatever, and it was like, I got this worked out?
Yeah, that really set the stock skyrocketing. Steve spending his.
Oh, back then, that $1 was worth probably $100 today.
Steve, did you ever notice your models go missing? And then you would see them back in a box at Bond?
And there'd be
slightly used.
dried glue on them.
Yeah.
Those were only 75 cents. You should have bought those.
So the chores were like what you would think, once in a while it was vacuuming or weeding the garden, but mostly the chore was doing the dishes. Doing the dishes was a big deal in our house because
there's 10 people.
Right.
Yeah, that's a lot of dishes.
For
a lot of dishes.
I mean, now I feel like child services needs to be called because your dad was like clearly underpaying you.
So how old was the oldest? Were all 10 kids in the house at one time?
Not really. So my oldest sister, Eileen, is 18 years older than me. And so she went away to school. And then, one of my other sisters went away to school, like maybe one of the older ones. And so there were times where it was all 10 of us, but there weren't many while I was.
Were you ever told that one of them went away to a nice farm?
No, but we had ducks that were sent away to a nice farm once. I remember that.
Oh man.
I have got to get to this farm.
Yeah, it's an awesome farm.
I guess we'll all get to that farm one day.
I have a couple cars up there, so.
So the dishes were, the way it worked was the older kids were the primary
caregivers,
dishwasher.
Oh,
right.
Sorry.
So they each took a night. Let's say there were 6 of them in the house at this time, right? And then it was me and my older sister Susan. We were always lumped together. We were the helpers. So while my older siblings had, once they had to do dishes once every 6 nights. And by the way, dishes in our house, like I said, a lot of mouths to feed.
Yeah.
And my mom wasn't efficient with her use of pots and spoons and pans.
Use them all.
No, wait a second. No. You misunderstand. Your mother wanted to teach you ungrateful sons of bitches a goddamn lesson. She used every dish in the house every single night for dinner.
Every dish.
You would out of her hair for at least 45 minutes and not ask her
Yeah.
one question. She would get 12 minutes of silence. 12 minutes.
That's true.
Before somebody was like, do I have to wash this dish too?
Well, hold on, Steve. Was your mom? Was she like a kind of a clean freak, or like any? Because what I'm saying is, keep in mind, we know the woman could not see, so she had to grab a new pot every time or plate. She didn't know what was on it. She's like, well,
all you have to do is clean one dish and make the same sound. You just have to have one of the kids making the same clean sound with one dish, and then just put them all back.
Susan and I had to do every other night. Our shift was every other night, while the older kids were every 6 nights. And it didn't matter what, like, if you had Thanksgiving, if you did, like, if luck of the draw, Thanksgiving, you were screwed, or Christmas, yeah. As we got older, we graduated to being a primary dishwasher, and at that point, we just took a normal shift, But by that time, most of the older kids were gone, so it was
same
really
pay rate, same dollar at that point, same pay.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it was $1, but it was funny because as we got older, there was a period of time where my brother John, he was so sweet. He would, I don't know why he did this, but there's a period of time where he, for some reason, decided to incent Susan and I to help him more, right? Doing the dishes. Because, again, we were the helpers. And he would, at that point, we were into buying 45s. Remember the...
Yep.
Yeah.
5s?
Yeah.
And we were just obsessed with going to the mall and buying a 45. And so his promise was, if you did a good enough job helping me when my turn came up, I'll take you to the mall the next day and buy you a 45.
Wow.
Huge.
That's huge.
Huge. And it was just like, are you kidding me? Awesome. So it was quite an incentive, and it worked. We would perk up and do a little more for him.
Would he follow through and take?
Oh yeah. But after a couple of times, I think John realized, like, okay, I can't be taking you to the mall every couple of days to buy you 45. So he withdrew from that deal after a couple of weeks. But it was nice. We got a few 45s out of it. It was awesome.
Did he offer to get you 23s, but you just couldn't find them?
23s?
Were there 23s? 33.
I'm joking.
Please get to a comment.
It was half of a 45. I didn't want to say 22 and a half. It was my attempt.
Let it go. Let it go.
No. Keep explaining it, Ian. Come on. I want to hear more.
Mario, you don't think we can workshop that joke?
No.
What happened to Ian?
He's gone.
Yeah, so...
do you remember any of the 45, Steve?
I remember my first 45 was the Star Wars bar theme.
Yes.
Yeah, Mos Eisley Cantina.
Yes.
I couldn't wait to get that 45. I was obsessed with it.
That is a great first choice.
Watch it, royalties.
Yeah. Oh shit, you're right.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
point. Well, we have to end the podcast again. We had a nice run again.
Good thing Kevin's tone deaf.
That's right. We'll be fine. I think I was pretty goddamn close.
So we were, I was earning $1 a week, and I had graduated from models to 45s,
I thought you were going to say from models to supermodels.
Yeah, I know. It did seem like he was like really gloating.
You take that out of context, and it is gorgeous.
But around that time, this was around the time, probably before my 45 phase, was I was hanging out with the Dolans. Remember that? They were the guys who I hung out with, who had all boys.
Neighborhood.
That was They inspired the cardboard gun.
Timmy Dolan and Ricky Dolan, and
but you had all mostly girls. They had all boys. Like
that was the laundry chute, right, Steve? The laundry chute.
No, the laundry chute was across the street.
Okay.
The Dolans they were just like, it was just a boy house. Like, Billy was my buddy. He had
sliding down the car, the front, the windshield.
No, that was across the street too.
A series of ill-conceived plans.
That was across the street. That was a different.
This is the one.
What?
This is the one with the fireworks where the kid died. Maybe.
Can we just pour a little out for that little guy?
I feel like I need Google when Jessie is.
Was it a bottle rocket up the butt, or what was it?
Yeah, now I need to know.
All right. So you remember the Dolans? They had like the dad had a big wood shop down the basement where he was always making forts. These guys were it was just a boy's house, right? And they're the guys who had the doll, the action figure back then, Big Jim. Remember we talked about Big Jim?
Oh yeah, yes. Mm-hmm.
And he was like an action figure, for boys, but he was like an outdoorsman. His whole thing was camping.
Yeah.
He had almost like lumberjack attire, and he had a camper and fishing gear. He had the karate chop arm. You could press his back, and he would do the karate chop.
A bottle of chloroform on the sink, a rag next to it.
Everything a Big Jim needs.
That was in his camper. That was in his camper's bathroom, which was locked, Jesse.
Did he teach you about keeping secrets?
Now, sorry, Steve, how old are you? Not with Big Jim, but right now. Because I'm trying to figure out. I mean, I had, we had G.I. Joe, we had Action Jackson and Major Matt Mason, but I don't remember a Big Jim.
It's funny because I remember Big Jim when we first ended the podcast and we went back and started reissuing or whatever, and on Instagram I put a picture up of Big Jim, so I do know Big Jim because of this. So.
Yeah. Originally, I thought Big Jim was just made by pedophile neighbors.
I don't doubt it. I'm just saying it was a thing.
They had G.I. Joes too,
they're real.
and Action Jackson, but they all said Big Jim was my favorite. I just,
of course, he was
bearded?
Big Jim.
Was there a beard and like a little skull cap, or?
I think so. Now I want to look and see if I can find it.
Was it basically just G.I. Joe with a beard?
No, G.I. Joe had like fuzzy hair, like he had almost real hair, and he was taller. Big Jim was smaller, and
there he is.
Oh wow,
that's Big Jim. Yeah, does he have a beard?
It's a Ken doll.
Like Malibu Ken.
Yeah, it's a sexy Ken doll.
A brunette, though. He's a brunette.
Well, so it's funny you mentioned Ken doll, Kev, because I was obsessed with getting my own Big Jim.
Okay.
Dolan's had a few. They had all the thing, and so I saved up, and it was not easy for me to save up when I had this allowance.
On models. Yeah.
Yeah, I had this dollar burning a hole in my pocket.
Big Jim runs what, $8.99?
I feel like the goal was $7. Like I feel like I had to get $7.
Yeah, that feels like a lot of money.
That means you're giving up buying 45s for a few weeks too.
Yeah.
I think this was before my 45 phase, but it was giving up buying model airplanes. So I finally save up enough money. And one of my sisters drives me down to Bonds, and I am just psyched.
Yeah.
And I get there, and I get to the toy section, and I get to the dolls, and there's no Big Jims.
Big run on Big Jims.
But I can't leave without a doll.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got $7. And so I start looking around, and I settle on one doll, and it's not quite Big Jim. A little taller, nicer clothes than Big Jim.
All right, now we're talking.
Like a silkier shirt.
Not nicer, sexier.
Could you see his nipples through the shirt? The silk shirt?
Yeah, I'm going to say yeah.
Can we see Big Jim? Big Jim didn't have nipples.
No.
I don't think we could see his nipples, could we?
You can't put nipples on a doll, Mario.
Yeah, there's no nipples on Big Jim.
No
way.
No.
That's not right.
Boobs are not sexual, but nipples are. So.
Okay. All right.
So I pick out this doll,
Jesse.
and I decide, all right, this is the one I'm getting, and I buy it, bring it home, take it out of the box, and he's just not right. He's got like his teeth are too white. He's too good looking. He's taller than Big Jim, and I realized that I bought a Ken doll. I was like, what? Why did I do this? It was one of those moments where I was like, I could have waited. Like I could have waited until the next week. I'll get another shipment of Big Jims, but I couldn't wait. And I had to have something, and I bought a Ken doll. And I just could not.
How old were you then? Like
11?
6? Oh, 6. Oh,
6
God.
or 7, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Waiting a week was an eternity. You couldn't wait.
Oh, absolutely not.
Wait.
That's never registered at all for you.
Well, Steve, did you have any of your model paint left? You could have butched him up a bit.
Beard.
Blackened out a tooth.
Right.
I thought you were going to say maybe you could huff a little of your model glue and just you and Ken
Hey,
just
Big Jim.
on a magic carpet ride.
All of a sudden, Big Jim's not so bad.
Was there a stigma, Steve, to the fact that it was a Ken doll as opposed to? Because I'm telling you, like I'm looking at Big Jim, I'm not seeing a huge difference between a Ken doll. Like if
Ken didn't have the karate chop arm.
Correct. Did not have the karate chop arm. He was
if you had him do it, you just had to. There was involvement.
There was no way I was bringing him around.
Sorry, Kevin. Does Steven look like an asshole to you? He's gonna bend his arm.
While everybody else is doing this,
Yeah.
to get their guy to karate chop, I'm doing this.
Like an asshole.
Like an asshole operating his doll with 2 hands.
Look at this guy with a Ken doll.
An action figure, right? You didn't call him a doll. Am I wrong? Did you say?
What's the difference?
He said action.
In 1950s dude parlance, I'm thinking there's a huge difference.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, it's still plastic.
Oh, I agree. He's a doll. There's 100% he's a doll.
I don't remember naming them that way either way. I just remember calling them Big Jim or G.I. Joe or
Yeah.
Ken doll was a doll. Ken doll.
Right. It's even in the name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there were wrestling dolls. There was the stretch arms.
Were there back then?
There's
What
G.I. Joe.
There was
there's
definitely.
G.I. Joe,
Yeah, there's stretch arms.
maybe even maybe not Star Wars isn't starting yet. There's Barbie. There's Ken.
Probably a Spider-Man.
Was Evil Knievel out at that time? The Evil Knievel doll?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yep.
Even Knievel's out.
Evil Knievel had a motorcycle. And
He came with a bike.
With the rips
Yeah,
off.
I was going to say, save for another few weeks and you got a Evil Knievel jump
You got a
site.
bike. Yep.
You could have. That was a real sliding doors moment for you, buddy.
These are all Big Jim dolls. This is all Big Jim dolls from Mattel. I mean, we're talking.
It looks like the Village People.
It does look like the
I
Village.
was going to say, with the utmost respect, that is the gayest group of dolls I've ever seen.
It does look like Pride. It
Yeah,
looks
beautiful.
like a Pride party
Gorgeous.
right there.
They're gorgeous.
in retrospect, my Ken would have fit right in.
Yeah, Steve, is there something you're not telling us or you need to talk to your wife about?
I think I need to make better shopping choices.
It's really amazing to me. I'm skimming this real fast, but they call them figures. They're action figure toys. They're not dolls. And like they were produced. Wait, what? Jesse, you said 1950 because it's Steve, but they were produced from 1972 to 1986.
Yeah, they can't call them dolls, dude. They can't.
No.
To anyone involved. I mean, the kids that were closeted at that point, like they couldn't get dolls, but they could certainly get action figures.
Yeah.
You know.
Kevin, what year did you say they came out?
72.
Okay.
72 to 86. So
Yeah,
they were a little after G.I. Joe. They were kind of the answer to G.I. Joe.
So did you play with it?
No.
Oh man, that's a sin.
Where did it? You just put it in a box under your bed? Like
We had so in our house,
We had a burn can.
in the corner of the living room was sort of next to the fireplace was a bench, and it was like a wood box. But we didn't use the fireplace. We used that for wood. So that was where we kept all my toys. And I threw them in the bottom of that. Never saw them again. I think I threw them out, years later.
oh man.
Oh,
Did you ever
you
get a
threw
big
it
kid?
out?
Threw it out.
That's worth about $200 nowadays.
Ah!
If you had that.
Think of all the model planes and 45s.
Did you ever get a Big Jim?
No, never got one.
That was it. You just like, as a good Irish Catholic boy, you failed once and you never tried again.
His punishment
Correct.
was that he never got one.
You
That was
don't
penance.
deserve it. God hates you.
Never been happy a day since.
Wait a second. I have a theory. In that week, you bought that. You put it in the box. That's the week you've discovered masturbation.
That's 6 or 7 now.
No, it was at least 2-3 weeks later.
Late bloomer.
Holy shit. Steve, I was gonna buy you a Big Jim doll and just send it to you. They are so fucking expensive.
I thought the same thing, so I'm glad you looked that up and
Yeah.
saved me the trouble.
Like this one here, used.
I don't want one.
This guy, $128 used. I mean, they're all used. I don't know what
Used.
means though.
Yeah, you do. You know exactly what it means.
Holy crap. This one, Big Jim, the Whip. Can you see the price on there? $445.
Yeah, but he's the whip.
What about his camper? He came with a camper.
Who is Big Jim? Like what in what world was he just created in doll world? Because most things, were things, and then were doll. I guess Barbie is a doll.
Yeah, what company did Big Jim?
Mattel. It was Mattel.
Same as Barbie?
So
Same
it's just
Barbie,
trying
same as
to- just trying to-
G.I. Joe's Hasbro. Yeah, Mattel is Barbie though.
Huh.
So this was to grab the male market.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's his camper.
How much is that going for?
Oh,
$50.
my God. Real quick, I didn't see any windows on the side of that camper.
No, they black them out.
Does it come with your own roll of duct tape and bag of lime?
Yeah.
And a little bottle of ether.
And a jar of candy.
There's the other side. It's even worse.
Oh,
it-
that's, yeah.
Does it come with several blank passports?
Oh my
No,
god.
it has a cover you can put on it to make it look like an ice cream truck.
God, that is so
And
funny.
a suitcase of money, of
Jessie.
currency in all different.
Jesse, this one's going for $15.
I-
But my guess is that it's that, and I feel like it is more than slightly used.
Yeah, that one looks like it won't unbend from that position.
I know he's listening right now. I want you to find the most used, disgusting, filthy Big Jim that you can find.
Kev,
Yeah, all right.
I'll pay you twice what you pay for it, and I'll lord it over him.
Google Big Jim spent.